guys, welcome to Fish the Moment here. Starting off the day with a little one, but first fish of the day right here on a topwater bait. In the middle of a big grassy flat. I'm on Lake Spavinaw here in Oklahoma, and first fish of the day crushed that topwater. I think I may have just found a little group of them, so I'm gonna get back in there real quick. Oh yes, there we go. Just fishing out here, guys, on a massive grass flat. And if you look around all sides of me, you can see it's just grass everywhere. It all looks pretty much the same, so I've been trying to work it with a topwater bait, just trying to find some fish. And it's the first week in November, and it's actually really cold this morning. It's the first real cold weekend of the year. It's like 45 degrees right now. But even when the air temperatures are cold, the water temperatures are still in the 60s, and they'll still be eating the topwater even when you're bundled up in winter gear. Got him. What's this? Oh yeah, oh gosh. Don't pull off, fish. Golly. That is a toad. Oh, good fish. Get him up here. Oh, there we go. Look at that one right there. Woo! Dude, that is a toad. Oh my gosh. Whew, got that one on the Strike King Redeye Shad and the Rayburn Red Craw color, just cranking some hydrilla out here. Actually pulled off from that flat I was fishing because I wasn't getting any bites up shallow, and I pulled out here in like 5-6 feet of water out in the middle of a little bit deeper flat, and good fish. That is awesome, dude. Whew. That's a 4-pounder right there, 4.5 pounder. Let me weigh him real quick. There we go, 4.27. Great fish. It's a really good one to start the day off with. Put this big girl back, and I gotta get back in there and get another one. There we go, guys. Again, just cranking that Redeye Shad. I found this little grassy stretch that's a little bit removed from the main grass line. The grass is pretty thick up on that flat, but out here there's sparse scattered hydrilla, and you can't really see any of the grass. I kind of was driving out of here and saw it on my electronics, and you can see on here, if we go to my hummingbird here, you can see that there's just little isolated grass patches. They're sticking up here. I have the depth set really deep here, but I'm only in 5 feet of water. And I was just taking this Redeye Shad and I was just cranking down this grass line and burning that crankbait back as fast as I could to try to keep it over the top of that grass. And I'm just burning it. And as I was reeling it back, that big guy just loaded up on it. That was a good one.
Okay, so let's take a closer look at the spot where I just caught that good one. Here's the grass flat that I'm fishing on Lake Spavinaw, and as you can see, there's a ton of grass on this flat, and it stretches out for almost a 1/4 mile down this lake, and the grass is anywhere from 2 to 5 feet of water. And it's pretty intimidating when you get to a grass flat like this, and it's hard to find fish because everything looks pretty much the same and there's just grass everywhere. And so a trick I use to actually figure out where to start on these grass flats is looking for historical images on Google Earth to try to find ditches and drains in these grass flats. So again, here's an image of this flat when the lake is at full pool, and then here's an image from the mid-2000s when the lake was drawn down 8 feet. And as you can see, there's a really nice ditch or drain that leads from this creek through the flat right here. And I actually caught my fish right here where that little ditch or small creek channel runs through that flat. And as you can see, it's really narrow, it's a really small spot, but those fish were stacked up right where that little drain was. And I could pretty much eliminate 90% of this flat and only focus on the areas where those little drains were. And I've also caught them right here. You can see there's a little ditch that runs in to the flat right here, and I've caught some fish there before as well, but there's a boat sitting on it during this day, so I didn't get a chance to fish it very hard. But again, if you're trying to find fish on these wide open, expansive grass flats, look for these little ditches or drains on Google Earth when the lake's drawn down, and you'll be able to find fish a lot faster. And for those of you who don't know how to find these historical images on Google Earth, first you need to download the Google Earth app on your computer. It doesn't work on your phone, it only works on your desktop computer, and it's completely free to download. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the upper part of the page near the left side, and you'll see a little clock with an arrow pointing to the left right here. When you click that, you'll get some options where you can look at different images in the past from the satellite images that Google Earth took. And if we go back in time here, you'll see, boom, there's that spot that I'm fishing right now, and you can see all the ditches and drains and everything like that. And there's 15 or 20 historical images normally on every lake, and most of the time you can find a good image of that lake drawn down.
Got him. Fish. There we go. That's a good one right there. Another fish right here. Just moved spots, went to a little grass line, and same kind of deal. Just fishing a little bit off the bank and on the edge of some grass with this rattle trap. I'm just not on the flat this time, just a little bit closer to the bank, but same exact bait, right rattle trap. And nice little fish. It's a good one right there. Great fish. Nice and healthy bass. That's keeper number 2. Good fish. Let's let him go. Awesome, guys. So all I'm doing here is just fishing a little line of grass, and I'm actually sitting in pretty deep water right on the side of the channel, and the grass here is really thick. There's a thick wall of grass, and I'm getting my bait hung every single cast. I'm just fishing some milfoil here. The last spot I was fishing had hydrilla on it, and it's a little bit easier to rip a rattle trap out of hydrilla than it is to get it out of this milfoil, but either way, these fish are getting in both types of grass, and I'm just trying to cast that bait down the edge of that grass where it's a little bit sparser, and I'm not being successful right now. But whenever I can get a clean cast, it seems like I'm getting a bite, or I just caught that fish. So I try to keep at it, even though sometimes fishing with a crankbait in grass can be a little bit frustrating. Okay, so there actually is a trick to fishing this Redeye Shad through the grass without getting it caught in the grass every single cast. What I do is actually use my electronics, and if you look right here, I'm actually drifting into some grass just a little bit here. What I try to do is keep my boat in open water. I try to put my trolling motor where there's no grass, and I try to stay as close to the edge of that grass as possible. As you can see, my bait right there is even getting caught up in the edge of the grass here, and so the edge of the grass is literally like right here, and so I try to move just off that grass line, and I'll show you here in a second. And here was the grass line right here, and as I'm moving to my left, that grass line stops, and you can see the grass stop on my graph. And what I try to do again is just keep my trolling motor in that open water where I don't see any grass on my graph, and normally then you can just parallel that grass line and keep your bait out of the thicker grass on almost every cast, but still keep it in the strike zone. But you actually do want to get that bait in the grass a little bit, and you want to kind of have it just tick over the top of the grass, or just work right down the edge and clip grass every once in a while. You just don't want that bait getting completely balled up in the grass. And so try to keep that bait right around the grass or just over the top of it, but not right in it. And sometimes if you do get in that grass just a little bit, you can jerk your rod like that and it'll clean off that bait. But if you're in too thick of grass, that won't work, and you'll just get the bait balled up just like this. You won't be able to rip it free.
And here's a better look at the grass line where I just caught that fish using a Navionics map. And I caught the fish right here. And if you notice, the contour lines are really close together, meaning there's a sharp drop. In the fall, it's always good to look for sharp drops near flats. So right here is a flat, and you can tell that because the contour lines are really spread apart. It's pretty shallow, and there's grass up on top of this flat. but that fish was sitting right on the edge of that flat, close to that deeper water and that sharp drop. And there's not many places on the lake that look like this, so it's actually pretty easy to pattern these sharp drops next to a flat on lakes like Spavinaw.
So guys, I'm back at the spot where I caught that 4-pounder, and this is the grass that's on the spot where I caught that fish. And you can see it's really green and it's some nice hydrilla. And the other grass I've been fishing has been a lot more brown, and it's that milfoil, which is a little bit stronger, and so it's harder to pull that rattle trap through that grass. But for whatever reason, there's just an isolated patch of hydrilla right here. And I got the fish, I think. Yep. As I'm talking, isolated patch of hydrilla, and there's some fish that are just chilling. Oh my God, it's a good one. He was not fighting at all. Oh man, I just got back here, guys, to that exact same spot. The wind's blowing like crazy, and there's some fish on this little patch of hydrilla. Woo! That is awesome. As I was talking, that is pretty funny. But again, on that Redeye Shad, that Sam Raymer red color. Oh man, I really sucked that guy good though. That's a solid 2.5, 2 3/4 pounder right there on one of my favorite fall baits to fish, that Redeye Shad. So great fish right there. Man, I was just ripping that bait out of the grass and he crushed it. Great fish. I'm put him back. Man, so guys, I am right back at that waypoint. I marked that spot right there on my graph, waypoint 2391. And I marked it right where that patch of grass was. And right when I came back to it, I caught that fish. And for whatever reason here on Spavinaw, it seems pretty common that I'll catch one fish on a spot and I'll come back like 2-3 hours later and then catch another one. I normally don't catch multiple fish off of a spot, even though I know they're probably grouped up here. I don't know if these fish are just like get a little bit spooked after one fish leaves a school, but I've had this happen 7 or 8 times on Spavinaw in this general area. And normally when you're fishing this offshore grass, you'll catch 2 or 3 fish back to back, but for whatever reason on this lake, they just don't do that. And here's a better look at some more of that grass. Really good green grass. It's that that hydrilla, and it's pretty easy to tear, so it's great for ripping that rattle trap out of, because you can just kind of pull your bait, just kind of jerk your rod up and rip that bait free. And those fish always love when you rip that bait out of the grass. So as far as my equipment goes today, first off, I'm throwing a Strike King Redeye Shad in the Sam Rayburn red craw color, and this is a 1/2 ounce version, and this is also the tungsten 2-tap version, which has a pretty unique sound to it. And I'm just upgrading the stock treble hooks on this bait to size 4 Gamakatsu EWGs. And then as far as my rod and reel goes, I'm throwing a Quantum Tour KVD crankbait rod, and this is a 7-foot 4-inch medium heavy action rod. And I like that longer rod so that when I'm making a long cast on those flats, I can pick up my slack really well, and normally I can get a lot more fish in the boat with that really long rod. And for the reel, I'm throwing an Abu Garcia Black Max reel, and I actually picked this up at Academy Sports for $39, and I'm testing this for a video that's going to be coming out in a couple months, and so far it's doing pretty well. And I'm just pairing that with 14-pound monofilament line, nothing fancy. So that's my gear today. Well guys, I think I'm going to call it a day. The wind's picking up pretty bad out here, and there's supposed to be a front that's going to roll through the next hour or two, and there's supposed to be rain and lightning and stuff like that. So I want to try to get back to the house before my boat gets completely soaked. But either way, hope you enjoyed this video and learned something about fishing lipless crankbait in the fall on some of these grassy flats. I caught some pretty good fish today. Didn't catch that many numbers, but that's just kind of typical for this lake. And I actually lost one other good one underneath the boat dock. It was like, I think a 3.5 pounder, and it just kind of came off in the pilings on the swim bait. But either way, hope you learned something. And if you enjoyed the video, hit like and subscribe down below. Leave a comment if you have any questions about what I was doing, and share the video with a friend if you think they would enjoy or learn something from the video. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, real quick before you go, I want to let you know that I just set up a Patreon page. Patreon is a site where you can donate to the channel and help support the content that I create, and you can also recommend video ideas and vote on polls for my upcoming videos so you can have a say in the content I make. And also, if you want to check out more videos, just look at them right here, and I'll put some really good content that'll help you become a better bass fisherman. So thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.